Oh. Welcome to 5 things I hate about my Mini. I'm back in the same location. Honestly, this is a different day, I promise. Now, I'm going to reference a couple of things in this video from my previous video, which was 5 things I love about this Mini. So if you haven't seen that, click on one of these corners just to watch that, because so you get a bit of background on what I'm going to say in this. But anyway, so 5 things I dislike about this car. Number 1, it has to be the usability cost. So last video I spoke about how it's sort of cheap to run, but it's definitely not cheap to maintain. When I first got the car, I had to spend $1,300 to replace the high pressure fuel pump, which was already quite an expense. Then it had this weird thing where every time I turned left, the horn would beep, so I had to get the steering column replaced, which was about £700. But a service from Mini costs about $350, and that's just for an oil and filter change and spark plugs. For the brake pads, Mini were trying to charge me $300 to replace the rear brake pads. God knows what it would be for the front. I don't even want to imagine, but probably around the £500–600 mark, because those are Brembo calipers. So it is, to maintain this car, it's very expensive, which does explain why it's so cheap to get into. Anyway, let's talk about the second thing. Number 2 has to be the hard suspension. Obviously in the last video I spoke about the good handling that this car has, but it does come with quite hard suspension as a downside to that. And when you try and take your gran in the car, take her to the shop, so she's going, oh, I wish you'd get a fresh car, this one's too hard. You know, then you think it is a good car, it's just not made for UK roads. You know, they don't maintain the roads over here, and so this car isn't really perfect for that. But that's number 2. What about number 3? Number 3, it has to be the lack of boot space. This car actually comes with 265 litres, which is about 20–25 litres smaller than a Corsa of the same year, which came with 280. So you do find that really it's not actually that big. You try and put stuff in and you end up running out of space. Also, when you close the doors, you won't be able to see, but when you close the doors, there's an annoying join in the middle where when you look in your rear view mirror, it sort of blocks off the centre half of the door area. So you get this part that you just can't see. So if someone very slim stood here, you wouldn't be able to see them. That's dangerous. Alright, number 4, it's got to be the lack of modern technology in this car. For a 2010 car, when it could be spec'd with screens and things like that, the original owner of this car didn't spec it with that stuff. And as the top of the line John Cooper Works model, other than the GP2, which was all about weight saving anyway, it's quite ridiculous that it didn't come with modern amenities as standard. So you end up looking with a massive speedo here, where a screen should be, and on a lot of cars it is, but that was an option. Fortunately, the original owner did spec it with these heated seats and a heated windscreen, but that was an option as well. And then also, he or she didn't spec it with cruise control and a speed limiter, so you end up with just these blanked out parts in the steering wheel. Now, for what at the time would have been quite an expensive car, probably around £25,000 new, I think that's quite ridiculous that BMW Mini didn't supply it with just basic stuff like that, especially as a top of the range model. Anyway, let's get on to number 5. Number 5, I absolutely hate how much chrome there is on this car. So let's go for a walk. So we got chrome on the rear door handles, chrome all the way around the car here, chrome on the fuel cap, chrome on the handle, chrome on the door mirror, on the side scuttle, on the headlights around, and this bit would have been chrome as well, but I think the previous owner blacked it out. And on the badge as well, there's so much chrome. Why do we need so much? I mean, I guess the good thing is you can come up to the car from any angle and check your reflection and make sure you're looking okay before you go on a date. But other than that, why is there so much chrome? Okay, so here's a little bonus. The car doesn't rev freely when you're moving and you put it in neutral. So I'll put it in neutral, put my foot on the floor, and you see how it takes ages, but if you put the clutch down, it revs straight away. So it's a little bit of a weird scenario, and if you come to a full stop, it revs normally as well. So I can't really explain that, but yeah, that's a weird thing that I don't like about the car. So that concludes it then. 5 things that I hate / dislike about this car, and a little bonus at the end as well. So ultimately now, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Whether I'll record another video on this car or do one on something else, I don't know. But whatever it will be, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!